underground dialogue. We gon' tell the truth, we ain't scared like a lot of y'all. Matters who they are, do we bow? No, not at all. Dropping bombs on this wicked world, so it gotta fall. Underground dialogue. We gon' tell the truth, we ain't scared like a lot of y'all. Matters who they are, do we bow? No, not at all. Dropping bombs on this wicked world, so it gotta fall. From the industry to the Oval Office, we expose the darkest motives of them all and disclose what the protocol is. Thinking and moving logical, stopping every maneuver possible, and apologizing for truth is not optional. We gon' help you with what you go through, reshape and mold you, and sweep over them weak lies they told you. If you living with no clue, we gon' deprogram the old you, and you get to keep your soul too.
What up, man? It's your big brother, K. Reno.
And it's your boy, Keith Stowe.
Y'all are tuned in again to another episode of the Underground Dialogue Podcast, where the name speaks for itself. And I want to tell y'all something, man. You know, Houston, Texas is known for having independent artists who started with nothing and turned it into something. The brother we have sitting in the legend seat tonight, he is no exception, man. This is the man who we watched turn from a young G to an OG. And now he is exemplifying that as being a straight up veteran out here in the city of Houston. He's from the legendary group HSE, Hustle Stacking Ends, and again, in my opinion, one of the most unsung spitters that we have had to come through our city, man. So we want to show our appreciation and welcome our brother, Young Red, is in the building. What's up, family?
What's up, my guy? What's it did, baby?
Man, we are honored to have you, man. We was chopping up so much game. You was giving us so much game before we started the cameras rolling, man. You know, we appreciate you, man. We love to do like origin stories of a lot of artists, man. Can you tell us and tell the people who might not know, you know, how you fell in love with this music and how you got started?
Man, so you know, I come from Sunnyside. Shout out Robinson Edition, Sunnyside, whole Sunnyside. I went to Worthy. I just did a talent show one day, man. Honestly, I didn't win. I met Flip backstage. Flip asked me what was the name of the song. He took me to meet Hump. We ended up laying the song down, not knowing it was the first record for the Hustle Stacking Ends album. And then we just started knocking out records. And then for like a year or two, shit, we was in the stars. It was just like that.
Man, just that quick. So Flip saw something instantly in you, you know, because I remember, like I was telling you, I remember when your name first started circulating and we was hearing your name circulating like that. And I think in the beginning, and you tell me if I'm wrong, I think in the beginning a lot of people was comparing you to Flip.
Yeah.
Like I said, but you know, I listened when I heard you, I was like, well, nah, he got his own. He sounds different, you know.
Yeah, it was you know, cause like me and Flip was always together. So, you know, we was like Batman, you know, Superman type shit. And so we was always together, always writing together, whatever. So they was comparing us to, but like as we grew older, you can definitely tell like styles is like totally different now, you know what I'm saying? But we got some new shit we just did recently too, so.
Oh, y'all back connected again?
Yeah, we been,
That's dope.
Yeah. To me, it's always seemed like they compared y'all two, because on the HSE, to me personally, my opinion, that y'all was the two that stood out.
Yeah, we did. Like I said, me and Flip had a lot more in common than the rest of the group, even though I knew AP longer than Flip, but me and Flip just had a lot of common interests. And I think our chemistry was like, you know, undeniable.
Yeah, no question about it. So when him and Hump took y'all on as far as the HSE group, was you already with the other members with AP and Head and all those guys? They brought you along, or you had to say, man, I got my guys?
Nah, I was the last one to come. You know what I mean? I was the last one to officially make the group. Yeah, so that's how it went. So Jason had passed, and then, you know, they were about to start the album. Then I was the last one to be.
So HSE was already Flip's thing, and they were okay. I was confused. I thought that you was the originator.
It was already Flip. Okay. It was already doing it. You know what I'm saying? I just came right in the right time. I don't know how I hit the right time. Yeah.
I always wanted to ask you this. What did y'all think about Hump putting himself in the group? Ain't on the cover.
That's my guy.
Yeah, salute to my OG. That's my OG, man.
Hump just was doing everything, man. Like, shit, he really raised us.
Yeah.
He really raised us, so shit, he was having the time of his life and shit, because he was out there serious and shit, but that shit right there was just, we was having fun, man. It was just like, it was some new shit, you know. We was young niggas, like, you know, it was a screwed up clique era, and here we were like the younger niggas, the next up, we were the first of its kind of thing that was happening in the city.
Man, you know what's crazy? We was talking about hitting that road and getting out there on that grind. Was that your first experience getting out there, boots on the ground, rolling with Flip and doing it like that? Or was that something you already had instilled in you and you was just moving, ready to do it when it was time?
Yeah, I hadn't even left my neighborhood until I started rapping. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hadn't even left Sunnyside until I started rapping, like, for real, for real. And we went, you know, for HSE, I think, like, the first time I really went out of town, we went to see UGK or something in Alexandria. You know what I mean? And I got to see, like, out of town, see how underground shit was. That's when we first got to see how it worked.
Right.
Yeah, and then for you know, we was, you know, packing CDs in the car, going through state line, running up on in nigga section. Hey, what's this? We got this, listen to this. Yeah.
So you was a natural from on that grind side, just picking it up. Did you love it? Did it feel like work? Was you just like, this what we gotta do?
Shit, you know, like I grew up with my grandparents, so you know, like it's a little bit more, it's a little bit more dire. You know,
So the hunger was there.
Yeah.
so my grandfather was born in 1818, so I had an old grandpa. You know what I mean? And it was a little bit more diet, you know, like you want to do something with yourself so they can see you, you know, your shit. So I used to just kind of really, really like it was work. It would work for real, for real.
How did they, by being your grandparents, how did they view you wanting to rap? Because I know for me, my mama, they really didn't understand. My dad was more because he financed me, but were they looking at you like, no, you need to do something else, or
Nah,
they support?
It was at that time. Unfortunately, they was too old to really, really have like to just tell me that opinion. They used to just my pop. You know, he was a little bit more alert on it. You know what I'm saying? He was kind of more impressed and proud. My granny was kind of at the you know, more sundown. She was almost out of here. So, you know, she wasn't really like giving me no opinion about it, but my grandpa was kind of proud.
Man, no, that's beautiful, man. So fast forwarding to when y'all came up to the deal with Sony, how did that whole thing develop to where they included you in it, or how that whole thing lay itself out?
I mean, shit, you know, we had we did Hunter Stacking Ends, did Leprechaun, did Crazy Numbers. So, you know, the labels was, you know, naturally calling for Flip or whatever. So, you know, but we just wanted a label deal. We was able to work out a label deal, but I don't know why the rest of the guys didn't get signed. I just know me and Flip, then Lil Ron, you know, insert Lil Ron, Shasta, you know, we ended up like revamping pretty much. And it just worked better that way. Really, like, you know, as we went national, it worked better.
Was a conversation had? How did that work when? I know how it is when labels are only interested in like.
Nah, no conversation was had. It didn't even happen like that.
Yeah.
It just happened like we walked in here one day
And they gave 3 contracts.
and the next day some shit didn't happen. We ain't see it here about it. It was just like that.
Hey, yeah. And the group member, the other group members who didn't get signed, it was just like, it's business.
Yeah, it's business.
Yeah,
It's business. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing like, you know, you don't want. It ain't, you know, it's business shit. I learned this shit, man. Ain't no friendship and no business.
Yeah, no question about it, man. See, cause that's a dynamic that a lot of groups go through. Like, man, you know, we want you, we want these two, we want these. And sometimes I remember hearing about Nelly and them kind of went through that situation like that.
You gotta be real live.
Yeah.
You know, it ain't no friendship. It's just business.
So solo projects, how many solo projects have you released to this day?
So I think right at the end of the Sucker Free, I think maybe like 7 or 8.
Man.
Really like, but maybe about 100 mixtapes though.
Yeah. Man,
but
that's a lot of work,
you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I just really like the mixtape thing always worked good, especially at the Swisher House. Shout out G Dash, you know what I'm saying? Watts. And just they were able to we was able to pump out so much music. You know what I mean? And we was able to, you could cram a catalog and like a year over there. You know what I mean?
At the Switch House, who got signed first? Was it you or Kinky?
It's Kiki.
It's Kiki.
Yeah.
Did you get any blowback from coming from where you come from to going over there to sign?
Nah, I mean, you know, niggas say what they say,
Yeah.
you know, but at the end of the day, this shit business, man. You know, like, you know, everybody got their opinions, but, you know, everybody ain't got no business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I took it like that. I just was like, fuck it. You know, it's business. You know, Dash was 100, you know, why it's 100. So yeah, I just, you know, ran with the play.
Man, this dude say everybody got their opinions, but everybody ain't got no business. That's really the get. I think a lot of people was caught in an ignorant mind state back then, because if you looking at, bruh, we trying to bring North Side and South Side together, and people worrying about if a South Side artist signs with a North Side label, and then this type, that was the craziest thing in the world to me back in the day.
You gotta look at it too. I'm coming from Southern Side, Texas, man, you know, and you know, ain't no telling what my future holds, you know what I'm saying? We at the wet house.
You gotta get it.
And we doing everything, you know, to eat. You know what I mean? We sharing wing dinner, you know, we doing whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Been there.
You know, Meals on Wheels, you know how that shit go. So, you know, but we gotta do business.
Yeah, no question about it, man. And what's so crazy about that, I like I say, you said talking about sharing wing dinners and all the different stuff here. What was the first taste of like that success and that fame that you got where you kind of knew, like, hold on, wait a minute. Yeah.
Man, for real.
For you.
I ain't really materialistic, so let me see. I like a good meal and some peace and quiet. So I don't think, you know, just being able to go take a vacation or something like that, just being able to leave H-Time and not do no work type shit.
Yeah.
You know, that's when you kind of know.
Yeah, and far as the fan base too, like, what was your first kind of interactions? You coming out the gas station, oh, that's Young Red. Like,
not out of time, you know, you see it all the time. You know, your hometown, you know, everybody know you, but like, you out of town and shit. Yeah, you start to see that. I remember Hawk was telling me that's how it was for him at first.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you had to kind of get acclimated to you. Out of town has always seemed like the love starts outward, then it comes back in.
You know, you gotta accept that. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
There ain't nothing wrong with it, because I love who love me. I don't, if home ain't loving me, then wherever y'all at, come on, group hug. Let's get it on. Yeah, and that's one of the things I think that exemplifies your journey too, because you came from the mud. Yeah. You got it the hard way. You know all of the tactics that were necessary. Nobody handed you nothing. Yeah. You know. So now, as we was talking off camera, with that training that you got, you speaking about A&R, you speaking about artist development and working with different artists. Now, a lot of artists that we've had sitting in the same seat, they'll tell you like, nah, man, I wasn't interested in doing it. What made you kind of say, I do want to work with other artists and I do want to try to take on?
I think it was something that kind of happened like organic for me. You know, like I just living life. I would run across, you know, some of the young cats out here, and we developed these friendships and shit like that. And you see stuff in certain guys, you know, okay, look, man, you might could do something. And you know, it just kind of happened over time. Like each artist that I've helped is organic, nothing that I plan to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes she be talking to you, bro. You just know what to do, when to do it.
Yeah, that took my next question, because I was like, how do you know? Like, how do you know to make that move, and where did you develop your ear?
All right, so you know, so you're a super OG out here, right? You're a super OG. You know, you knew you was gonna be a legend. You felt it in your stomach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Didn't you?
No, I knew.
You felt it in your stomach.
You know how I knew, Red? Because when people ask me now, they say, if you didn't rap, what would you be doing? I don't have a clue.
See, I felt it in my.
I put all my eggs in one basket. Yeah,
I felt it right here for for real.
Yeah,
I just had a funny feel. I always say I had just a funny feeling.
Yeah. That's gonna hit my question, because I was gonna ask you, what's one of the major things you had learned from going over there to Swisher House, and then what's one of the worst things you learned from over there at Swisher House?
Swisher House, man, it's a business. They teach you how to be a brand. You know what I'm saying? They really teach you how to set up you. How to get you. They teach us the blueprint. You know what I mean? I ain't really had no bad, you know, situations at Swisher House. You know, they just teach you how to be you. Like, Man, I embraced that shit.
And you had just came from Sucker Free before that, right? So you weren't a rookie. You weren't no rookie coming in. You had already, because you talking about one multi-million-dollar label to another.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm pretty sure that by the time you came in, you was respected to a degree. Like, hold on, that's Young Red. Ain't this no?
But you still, you know, the learning curve. You know, I was still just ready to learn more. You know, at the time, so I was learning more about it. See, with Sucker Free, you know, I was just starting. I was a baby. Then Switch Highs, you know, I'm a young man. I'm learning business and shit like that. So yeah, I learned more about the business during the Switch Highs tenure, like in detail.
Yeah. Because coming in, because coming in, you more so, I want to be an artist. I'm ready to rap on stage. I'm ready to do shows. I'm ready to be in the magazine. Yeah, but then you start looking like, okay, well, you know, I'm ready to make some money.
So Dash, I started learning about the business more at Switch House.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. Well, you have worked with some of the most legendary artists to come out of the city, man. Just being, like you said, in that screwed up click era.
Yeah,
man. Who were some of the ones that you had work and some of your favorites that you've been able to share the booth with or share a track with?
So y'all, you know, Charlie, me and Kiki, dropping the Cost of Living album, me and Key, that was a super highlight. You know what I mean? Of course, me and Hawk, you know, the big homie.
Man.
Going to Screw Highs, you know, being able to go to Screw Highs, that's crazy. Can't nobody really say they been there, you know, been inside to see the shit, just being there as a little nigga, you know, that was dope.
What was that like? Because I'll be feeling like a lot of people that said they was at Screw House, they went there. But then, but some can describe it in detail, you know what I'm saying? But what was it like just being around Screw, first time meeting Screw and ending up at
so I met Screw in my neighborhood, Robinson Edition, right there. I was cutting behind the churches right there. So my OG Frank White, shout out to Frank White, him and Screw, you know, they was real tight. They would be in front of my house. We had like the little spot. We had the house to be at. Everybody be right there. And I think the first time I met him, me and my nigga Russell Lee used to sing with SPM, and then Russell Lee, he's from my hood too. So we was out there, we met him together, and we ended up just freestyling right there in the driveway.
Yeah.
And he gave me a beeper number.
Yeah, a long time ago, y'all.
Super long.
Yeah.
I ended up just one day I had some money to go to the cleaner. I ended up getting starched up in like a, you know, jagged pocket or some shit like that. But yeah, that's how we met him. But then one day we got the call. We was at Stadium Bowl, man.
Remember them shows too.
Something they told us.
I remember them fights.
Yeah, they told me and Flip and them, hey man, you know, John, go to Screw Highs, whoop de whoop. Yeah,
man, that's like, look, he said one day we got the call.
Yeah, we got the call.
That's like you in the minor league, and then the Dodgers call you, say, man,
We got the call.
you're coming to the big leagues now.
Yeah, we got the call. We got the call.
Was you nervous going over there for the first time, or you just had in your mind like, okay, this is my moment?
We just went in there. It just was just cool. It was cool. Once you get in there, you was in there though.
Yeah.
All right.
They say he kidnapped you.
He been in the house for real.
Yeah.
Because everybody been in the house that said that same story. You know, like, yeah, you on lockdown around this bad house arrest.
Jack in the box, right?
Yeah, man, that's a beautiful thing.
Just to be able to see all y'all OGs and then, you know, just going to do music after that. That shit, you know, it's dope.
Man, you know what's so crazy though, Red? I think about this all the time when anybody came, because I never been to the house. You know, we was doing our thing, our South Park Coalition thing, but man, I just wish that it was footage like that back then, man. That'd have been so dope. And if it was, it might not just be a lot, but that'd have been so dope.
Like you got footage.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
I feel like you got a little footage in there.
Yeah. You know, you sometime, but I know it ain't a lot of that.
Yeah.
With y'all, the artists and stuff like that, man.
Hold on. You see, we in there.
Okay, y'all. Okay.
Yeah, we in there. Look at the young. You know,
That's Flip.
Yeah, you see, we in there.
Yeah, man.
We gotta send that to us. So I can show it to them.
Yeah, see, well, okay, well, that's what I.
Oh yeah, that footage
missing a
be
lot,
out there,
man.
you know?
Yeah, okay, well, that's good, because it was always some visionaries that had cameras back then before everybody had a phone and those type of things. Well, I'm glad to hear that, man. So when Screw first heard you, was he like, yeah, he gave the stamp like that?
I thought we was babies at that time.
Yeah.
When Screw was doing his thing, you know what I'm saying? I know he put like the Hustle Stacking Ends, he played a couple songs, Screw tapes. Then we had one we freestyled on, it never came out. I don't know where that tape is, but you know, like, yeah, he was always fucking with what we was doing, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So shout out to, you know, long live Screw.
Man, no question about it, man. Everybody who mentions Screw basically speaks the same way about him. You know, that demeanor, that humility. One of the greatest, man, one of the greatest people. You know, you forget the music. So I was hearing you talk about like the A&R side, the artist development side, and add some ghostwriting and things of that nature too. How'd you get into the ghostwriting side? What pulled you into that?
Just being around, just assisting where I can help. You know, it could be a hook here, couple lines here, idea here. You know, as long as it's just, you know, me helping a situation, and you know, over time, you know, I just got put in little rooms here and there. I was able to capitalize, you know, in my own way.
I think too, though, it got a lot to do with your skill too, because ain't nobody gonna let you ghostwrite for them if you ain't. You know. So
the ideas had to be live, you know, like but other than that, just you know, if your idea is, you know, nigga can receive that shit well, you gotta be able to put that shit out there, like, hey, you know.
And as far as ghostwriting too, and answer this question for me, like every artist is different.
Yeah.
So the ability to be able to say, if you got 4 people that you working writing for, you got to know how to channel him, her, him.
I remember writing for Trina one time, and it's why you gotta write with her in mind. You know what I'm saying? So that shit was crazy.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That's a side people don't know. You got to basically become that artist. You got to become like Red say, put yourself in that mind frame, and then the reward comes from when you write it and you hear them say it, and it's like, okay,
and it's
it's them. Yeah, it's believable. It's them. You know, so you wouldn't be a ghostwriter if you tell us everybody you wrote for. So we ain't gonna go there for like.
I don't never say none of that.
Right. But so you did some work on the Fast and Furious soundtrack. How that whole thing
think that was
come to pass?
Accident. I wouldn't say accident, but we just in the right place at the right time. We was actually doing that song before it got asked up from the movie people. We was already doing the song literally right then. You know, I think we just met one of the producers on the set. We just so happened to be recording where they were shooting it. And I was like, yo, let me get that song. Bam, happened fast. You know what I mean? That's one of my first big checks. It just happened real fast.
Man, that's like maybe the 3rd or 4th time I heard you say I was just in the right spot at the right time. This time. I mean, you switch your name up to Young Right now.
Young Right. Young Right.
Yeah.
So when you did the Fast and Furious, the work on that, you had already figured out publishing and all that?
Nah, cause we fresh out Hustle Stacking Ends, you know, and and the Leprechaun. So we was just, you know, still teenagers, really just still trying to figure it out. You know, it wasn't until after that's when we started like, you know, cause we got, you know, right then we got paid like a nice amount, you know, for that. So like, okay,
like up front. Out the muscle. Okay.
And then you start seeing royalties for it. So you like, okay, bam.
Gotcha.
Okay, so it did sort of go right with the paperwork. I was gonna ask you, when you first started, did you have your own manager? Like when the time that you started to get your...
I ain't never had no manager. I ain't never had no manager. Except for G-Dash and T Ferris, like later on in my career, but like for the longest, I ain't never had on that.
But you know, you just talking to you now, it seemed like you kind of move in a way, and I don't know what your mindset was when you was younger, but it seemed like you move in a way where you kind of got a handle on all that. Have you always? I know you probably when you're 15 or 16.
I ain't always had. I ain't always had no handle on it. I had to really like, you can't be too emotional with this shit. You know. You know, that's one of the big lessons. You can't be too emotional with this shit, man. That shit hurt artists. Like niggas can't receive that shit well in the industry, man.
You talking to his soul right now.
Oh man, you know, yeah, true indeed. Because the good and the bad, even if somebody mishandles you because they didn't know what they was doing, they had no bad intentions, you still got mishandled. But even if somebody mishandles you because they did intend on messing over you, the key, what you said, not getting too emotional about it, understanding that you still got a God-given talent that you can snap back from whatever, you know, and you accept it as a learning process. That's why I was like, it was hitting me because I never heard nobody else take that approach to understand you can't get, because truth be told, we've had people sitting here that's still crushed behind stuff that happened 15, 20 years ago.
Super emotional.
Yeah. And I understand, but
that's self-inflicted though.
it's self-inflicted, but you also, you're not gonna move forward if you it's like a relationship. It's like, oh man, you still think about what your ex did to you and you trying to jump into a new relationship, it's not gonna work. You're gonna bring that baggage over there.
Yeah, that's self-inflicted. That shit crazy, but nah, it just, man, game is what it is, man. It's a work.
Yeah, no question about it, man. Would you change anything if you had the power to from back then? You do it exactly the same way?
Yeah. It's supposed to be this way.
Yeah. Okay. I was thinking about what you said a minute ago. You saying like a lot of artists that you work with, that you bring them in, and I was like, we used to like, man, not many people even accept the wanting to bring an artist in, and you said that y'all don't do no paperwork. How does that work when artists are not doing no paperwork?
I mean, cause you know, like they got their own brands that they want to do. You know, like they got things they want to do. Like we just building shit. You know what I mean? You can't hold no nigga down to no paperwork, and ain't no millions around. Ain't no millions in the universe yet. You know, hold a nigga down. Nah, man, you gotta let these niggas do them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if it's a brotherhood, it's just that. It's a brotherhood.
How do you gauge knowing? I guess gauging the character of artists, because
you can just tell, man. You know, real recognize real, that shit for real. You know, you just could tell, man. You know,
no doubt
you
about
ain't
it.
Be right all the time, but for the most part, you can peep.
Yeah.
And I heard you say one time, you said the days now where people put so much where they pay to get their music played, that's one of the reasons why the majors ain't messing around with Houston like that no more. I wanted you to explain that one, because that was kind of
when I said that.
I heard you say that on Dining.
And which part you was asking me about?
When you just said one of the main reasons why the majors ain't coming to Houston and messing with the artists no more is because of the regular artists can't get played like they supposed to be because they gotta pay somebody.
At one point, you know, we all feel like that was a thing, but now, you know, it ain't no excuse. You got all these streaming platforms. You know, ain't no excuse for you not to get, you know, no money out these music. So
and then
times have changed.
I don't think that's a bad thing about, you know, because man, if you can avoid signing with a lot of these majors, it could be better for you if you understand the business side, because they ain't doing nothing but crumbing these artists.
It just depends
along.
on what you want out of it.
What you want out of it. Yeah, because some just, I've seen examples where people have used the label, if you're not locked in too long, just to get their name out there. They're not worried about the money right now. But in other situations, if you're coming in blind and thinking you're about to get this whole bunch of money, that ain't typically how it goes, you know, dealing with a label. And then the game's so different now. You know, back in the days, we always talk about back in the physical copy days, you gonna sell 25, 30, 100,000, and then the labels come. And then they might give you 2 million, 5 million, or whatever the case. It's not that climate is not the same.
Yeah, I just think you can't compare the two eras. I think it's just a lot too much different shit going on, vastly different shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know, being able to see all the eras, like, man, this shit way different, man.
Yeah.
Which one you like the most?
I don't know, bro. Like, you know, I adapted quite well. So, you know, I don't know, bro. It's like I kind of like now. You know, I like now. You know, I can, you know, appreciate this shit more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I kind of like it right now.
What would you say to a lot of artists and business people in the business about how to adapt? What would be your advice about how to adapt? Because a lot of people complain, a lot of people die out.
You gotta live and let die, man. You know what I'm saying? You gotta, you know, leave. You know, you gotta change. Be willing to, you know, move on.
Yeah.
I mean, niggas be stuck. I be seeing, you know, you see these niggas out here stuck. You gotta move forward, man.
Yeah.
You know, in future rich, you gotta move forward. You know what I mean?
No question. And that's so you never had no, not that I even really care, but you never had no bad blood with any of the business people in the game. Nothing like that.
Yeah. I mean, maybe once or twice, but you know, that's just part of you learning the business. You know, I'm gonna tell you about emotion. You know, we all went through that.
Yeah.
You know, we all went through that. You just gotta grow from your experiences. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But that's how you learn.
Okay. I'm watching you now with the Future Rich line and all that. Break that down to us and tell people what Future Rich is and how they got started and what you're doing with it.
It was just something during my time at the Swisher House. I had just all my niggas around. It's something we believed in, Future Rich. You know, we was always doing the next shit, you know, doing our own shit. So that it just felt like that name represented everything we was doing, you know, and we just put it together. Clothes, you know, logistic business, you know what I mean? Got artists and shit, you know, A&R and shit, you know, we just doing our thing.
Yeah, man. And I think that's another way a lot of artists are transitioning just from not being locked into 100% music. I don't think that you can
at
do
this
it
point
like
you
that.
gotta do more than you gotta do more.
Yeah, without a doubt.
More, you know what I mean, at this point. So yeah, you gotta always have
Yeah.
You know.
So the guys you bring in, the artists you bring in, that's something that you instill in them. Like, man, don't just be locked in on this music, bro. Try to figure out something.
Nah, they kind of, you know, they picked up on it. Everybody do their own thing.
Yeah.
They picked up on it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody do their own thing.
And you was talking about role playing and how everybody can't be a rapper, everybody can't be an artist and all that. And a lot of times, guys come in with the intention on being an artist, and when that is presented to them, some of them they can't really accept that.
That's the difference. Friends are employees.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like most of everybody, we brothers. So, you know, we don't got, you know, that's like an employee type thing. That's what you want to do. But now knowing with us, we just was always just, you know, like-minded individuals or whatever. So, you know, the crews that build like that, you know, we found it.
Yeah. Cause it remind me of you know, when Russell had Big Time Records back in the days, and Mac Nice from Nice Graphics, you know, he was an artist. He was rapping and they was in the group signed to Big Time. But over time, he was kind of like, man, you know, this rap ain't for me. Now he transformed into doing graphics for the artists on the label. Now Nice Graphics is like, that's what it is, you know. So rapping might not be your thing. Being an artist might not be your thing.
And that's fine. You can still be in the culture, you know. You can still add your splash, you know, on the canvas. You know, you still can.
And that might be where your real money might be.
Yeah,
because the money might be in rapping. Might not be
everybody ain't gonna be on TV. You know, like, you know, everybody ain't gonna be on TV. Everybody ain't gonna be the star, or the nigga. You know what I mean? You gotta just know how to leave your mark.
No question about it, man. I think we need more people in the game with your mindset. You know, it's for leading a lot of these young artists, because those things, you talk like a coach.
Yeah.
You know, straight up. Straight up. He talked like a coach. Like if he was having a meeting with a lot of different artists, to hear him instilling all these principles about knowing your roles, not moving on emotion, things like that. That's coach speak in terms of learning these guys, teamwork. So
you got the coach outfit on.
But you know, but that's big, because I mean, it's rare.
Yeah.
This ain't normal, because especially as an artist who's still an artist, and a lot of times that becomes a conflict of interest, because it's like, I got these artists, but I'm still an artist myself, so now it's neglect. You know, on that side. How do you balance being an artist and taking on artists at the same time?
I ain't really like, when you say taking them on, all I'm doing is passing information. You know what I mean? So all my boys, you know, bros, they doing their own thing. We just exchanging information, you know, to figure it out. You know what I mean? So they're able to function, you know, on their own.
Yeah, they police themselves.
We just come together, you know. You come together when it's time to, you know, come together. You know what I mean? But like, I'm always a phone call away or idea away, whatever it may be.
Yeah. Seem like you enjoy giving input to like projects and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Somebody come in and do it and do it.
Without stepping on toes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Balance.
Yeah.
Again, that's balance because I mean, and it seems like from what I'm getting, seems like your input is appreciated.
Yeah.
You know, what's the response when you have to give somebody a brutally truthful criticism, say if it ain't in the right way?
Like I say, he go. I mean, sometimes I might be too straightforward for something. You know what I mean? Sometimes might be received well, but you know, everybody listen different. So you ain't gonna never get a clean streak of just, oh man, you know, receive well shit. Nah, some people ain't gonna like that shit.
Yeah,
you got better live with that.
Yeah, them the kind of people that not built for it though, because if I know you, if I know Red is my boy, I know he not telling me something out of pocket to try to be disrespectful.
But you know that shit be hard.
Oh yeah.
It be hard to hear, man.
Yeah.
It be hard to hear, man.
Yeah.
Like, I remember shit catching a case or two, you know, and my mama telling me some shit that was hard to hear.
Yeah.
And I had to take that.
Well, you got to know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
The way you receive it is based on who it's coming from. So if mama telling you, mama got your best interest. So she not telling you to try to put you down.
Yeah,
it's like she telling you, I love.
So
you being the coach, you being the big brother now. If he tell, hey, nah, bro, you can do that better, man. You got to go in that. You ain't. Look how you mumble your word. That ain't sound right. You got to take that.
I take that. Hey, do that over. You know.
And you been there. See, another thing, people don't. A lot of times, people have a lack of respect for somebody they feel like haven't walked down those roads.
Right.
So young Red telling younger guy, even a contemporary, you know what I'm saying? Cause that's how we move.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm in the booth and Murder hears something, I'll be the think I hit it. I know, okay, that we gonna keep that. And he'll come, nah, man, do that again.
Yeah.
And you play it back like, okay, so I did say that. So it don't matter. If I was in the studio and Young Red came in there and say, okay, man, you sure you want that's the hook you want to use? You know, I'm gonna say, okay, what you hear? You know,
Yeah.
That's just creative, just bouncing
off each other.
Yeah.
Even back then when he was coming up, you got to accept the wave hair grease he used to use. Red had the coldest. You got
I'll feel me sometimes.
Yeah. Look, that's my boy right here.
Yeah, he used it.
My boy is, man, he them waters.
I still be, you know.
Yeah.
I'm still.
Yeah, well, I'm out the game, y'all. I ain't got no action. I'm out of there. Yeah, man, look, hey, well, yeah, you know, I used to carry my little brush back in the day, but no, I mean, I just think that's important for young artists or any artist to know that criticism is part of the game. You rather be heavily critiqued by your small circle than in this day and age, the social media age, the comment sections are ruthless, you know, brutal. And comment sections make people want to retire, want to quit. So you got 1,000 people saying this garbage.
You can't even pay attention to that.
No emotion.
You can't, man. You can't. You can't pay attention to it.
Yeah. That's like when Mr. Mina was in here and she was saying people was telling, she was reading on people telling her she too old to rap and all that. And it affected her. It made her want to say, maybe I am. So to your point, you got to know what you love to do and just do it.
Man, just go for what you know. Yeah. Being able to do something out of the ordinary is really rare.
Yeah.
So, niggas just not able to do so, they gonna critique you the most. You just gotta do what you want to do.
Man, no question about it. So if you didn't do music, is it anything else you think you would be doing if you didn't do music?
No, you know, bro.
You got a little height on you, man. You ain't never tried it.
Yeah, I can hoop, though.
Yeah.
I can hoop, man. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Everybody had hoop dream, but I don't know, music just hit me.
Took over.
Yeah, it just was it.
Who was your influences in music when you were starting out?
Definitely Fat Pat, C-Note. Probably, Fat Pat, C-Note, Key. You know, pretty much.
Yeah, just concentrated locally. Yeah, I love that. I love that.
That was like my first, you know what I'm saying, my first goals right there. C-Note, Key, Pat.
Man, yeah, that's a strong start. If that's your introduction, then that's a strong, because you talk about legends, man.
Yeah, that was my work.
Yeah, legends on top of legends, man. You know, it's a thing now where, you know, a lot of people are pitting the old against the new artists, and that's something that we've been campaigning against for the longest, man. Try to bridge that gap. Do you see in that any of that, and if you do, how would you suggest that we kind of?
I think all this shit jamming, man. So, you know, I listen to everything. You know, like, niggas come to my house, I got everything playing from new to old. Like, I got, you know, I jam everything. So,
Yeah.
I don't give it no thought. I just feel like niggas, you know, respect what they respect. I like all the new shit, all the old shit, you know. Anything different is fine to me. I fuck with it.
Man, no, absolutely, man.
You like it all?
Yeah, I be jamming everything, bro. I fuck with everything, like H-Time, you know.
So everything.
Well, you know, that make a lot of sense, because, like I say, he's a natural A&R.
Oh, yeah.
That make a lot of sense. See, I couldn't do it, but it ain't. It don't have nothing to do with
you just gotta
me
understand,
not liking the music.
Like, sometimes if you understand the artist, you be like, okay, that's the type of that nigga do sound like he make that type of shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You gotta understand.
Yeah, nah. But see, that's to me, you got to be built for that. That, like say, we say I can listen to it all. He can put himself. If you have artist development skills, if you have A&R skills, and if you have ghostwriting abilities, then you encompass from different generations. I can see how that transcends different generations for you.
Yeah, you never really like. You never really like hear on a dated level. Like, you always kind of like, you know, changing. While you hearing new music, you steady changing. You ain't never stuck.
Yeah. Yeah, cause I'll listen to your new stuff with the one you got with Chris Ward.
Oh yeah.
And so banger.
We even on Shout Out Dot, we got the Cullen record on Dot album too, the Dot-tober. Yeah, so you can check that out too. That shit live too.
Yeah,
we cooking though.
And we glad, because like we had Dot in here, we had Chris Ward in here, so we and like I say, you've been on our radar for a long time, man. So we glad to get you up in this thing.
It's an honor, man. I appreciate it.
Man, come on, man. Any solo stuff, any new stuff coming? What we need to be looking for?
Yeah, so you can hear me right now. I'm on Dot album, Dot-tober. Got a record called Cullen Boulevard. You know, Chris Ward, I got a new album. I got a song called Lord Willing on that coming out. That I put together. Shit, I got a new single, Southside Active, me and Ward. You're pretty dope. And my artist Future is Easy, my little brother. He got his album out right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty dope.
What is the difference for you now in terms of promoting then, and how you approach promoting and marketing now, and how this new thing is?
Everybody do shit different, man. So it ain't really no fault, man. It just depends on when you putting it out, you know how, why, you know, it really ain't no certain way to do this shit. You know, everybody different.
Yeah,
everybody different.
Right, no question about it, man.
I always thought it was a good idea for you and Ward to get together, because to me, y'all got sort of not the same style, but y'all hit. That punch is still the same hard. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's my bro, man.
You never expect what you get, and then
That's my bro. That's my bro, man. Like, I talk to Ward every day. That's my boy since we was kids.
Yeah,
so that's my nigga.
No, these dudes can rap, man. Like, can really rap. Like,
Red is underrated, I think.
Absolutely, totally underrated. Do you? Because you being real humble, and I mean, I appreciate it. But do you think about that? Like, man, these boys done slept on me for a long time. Like, I know I'm that dude, you know?
Nah, I don't be thinking about it. Because, you know, like, I ain't a nigga that I ain't really never want no fame or no shit like that.
Okay.
I just wanted to be able to eat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I just wanted to be able to eat and take care of my family. So it wasn't really like a nigga that had to shine ass nigga. I wasn't that kind of nigga. You know, like I said, I could go with my grandparents, and we ain't even have, you know, they thing. So, you know, our nigga just wanted to be able to eat.
Well, is it all right if we want it for you? Can we?
Yeah.
Because, like I say, man, I hate when I know a rapper is dope, but people ain't. Enough people know. People know, but enough people don't know. So I'm like, nah, dude, y'all always complaining about it ain't no good music. It ain't no good. No, it is, bro. It's guys out here that's veterans, that's legends out here that been spitting, man. It's like, so, so yeah, okay. I respect your humility. I really do, man. But I want more people to really understand that
that shit.
guys like you, Chris Warrior, man, these are real rappers, man, that can put words together. And the people who y'all work with, number one, would not appreciate y'all's opinions, or they would not ask for you for them if they didn't see that, if they didn't know that in you, man. Right. Plain and simple. So, pop it in now and then, man.
I agree.
Pop it for your big brother every now and then. Give me 3 artists outside of Houston that you would want to work with, that you would love to work with, rappers that you would love to do a song with.
Nobody right now. Just nobody, man. Yeah. I listen to every song, but I ain't. That's how I'm idolizing. Really nobody, bro.
I respect that.
For real, like nobody.
Yeah, no question about it. I respect that.
But I jam, I listen to a lot of shit, but like nobody. Right?
Yeah, hey man, this dude is an original. He your way of thinking is against the grain in a lot of ways, but in a good way, in the best way, because I think a lot of times a lot of artists kind of follow a template. They kind of follow a traditional path and they just ride a certain way. But yeah, you seem to be a brother who's rooted and grounded in knowing exactly who you are as an artist and a person.
Yeah, and as a man.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
I appreciate that. Yeah. I think you got to see shit for what it is, I think.
Yeah. So what you think about outside of music? You pay attention to what's going on in the world, and what do you think about how things are going on in America right now? And
I just really think we got some shit to figure out, like for real, like everybody as a whole, the nation or whatever shit like that. But we made a bad choice this last election. It was a bad choice.
Yeah,
it was a bad choice. We're gonna have to live with this shit for 4 years.
If we make it that far.
K always says prophecy coming from
no doubt. No doubt about it.
Yeah, that moment. I think some of this shit is that. And some of this shit is dumb decisions, because you can always the karma shit, you can alter it a little bit. But sometimes they make dumb decisions.
Man, you know what?
Dumb decision.
He did it again. See, because you can alter prophecy. See, prophecy. Some prophecies are set in stone, but some are conditional. Because if you read certain things and say, well, God will say, if this keeps happening, I'm gonna do this, or this keeps happening. So it's conditional. So it's about how we move, and then, like you say, dumb decisions. Those who chose the current administration, that's the bed that you got to lay in now. That's the bed that we got to lay in right now. But it does unfortunately tie into the fall of this country. The fall of Babylon, and we got to get out the way. We can't see. I think one of the best things you said, other than everybody got opinion, but everybody ain't got no business, was when you speaking on, that was, but about people being emotional.
Yeah.
Even with what's going on in the world, we can't be emotional about it. Because if we get emotional about it, we're going to get swallowed up by it.
Even the guy with the button, you know what I mean?
Damn.
Even the guy with the button, Y'all seen that doomsday clock? You see how close it is? Y'all seen that before?
The critical level.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, no question about it. So do you have, you got children and
I got one son.
Yeah. 11 years old? Okay, yes. Yeah, so if your son wanted to get into music, would you be cool with it, or would you be something that you would discourage him from?
I wouldn't discourage it. He's smart enough. He kind of smart, so he know what to do. He love his daddy, so he ain't gonna go against the grind.
No question about it, man. No question about it. Well, brother, man, it's been an honor chopping it up with you, man.
It's sad.
Like,
it's been a pleasure to be on.
This one of the ones we was waiting on, and it didn't disappoint, because this is gave a lot of insight, a lot of introspective, a lot of, depth to your conversation, bro. If you got any social, any information you want to give to the people.
Just drop in on me, man. Instagram, the Real Young Red, man. That's where I'm at most of the time, though. Tap in, we got Futurist clothing. You can order, Futurist clothing on IG. Download my boy Futurist Easy album, man. CG Deuce. Shout out Ready Made, C Wars, it's a whole gang. Us never them.
Yeah. And yours is coming next solo soon. Okay.
Doing my Barry Gordon shit.
Yeah. Gotcha. See?
Doing my Barry Gordon.
There it is. Okay. Well, don't leave us, man. Don't make us wait too long.
Yes, sir.
Because the real is rare.
Yeah.
The real is
appreciate
rare.
it.
So, man, the one and only Young Red. We've been well fed by Young Red.
Young Red.
I said what I said.
Almost old Red.
Man. No, but he still look like if it ain't for the beard, if it ain't for the beard, he still look the same, man.
Man.
Yeah, so I mean we appreciate you, brother. But we gonna get you out of it, man. Come on. Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. Well, it's your big brother K Reno.
And it's your boy Key Stove.
It's the Underground Dialogue Podcast, another great one tonight, man. And we are out.
This gift.
And it's your big brother K Reno. Look, man, the Underground Dialogue website is back in function. We back in motion, man. If y'all want Underground Dialogue podcast merch, whatever you need, go to undergrounddialogue.com and check us out. And always make sure that every Wednesday night y'all are checking out the Underground Dialogue podcast right on YouTube, 9 p.m. Central Time. Yeah! What's up, man? It's your big brother K Reno, and check this out, man. The Underground Dialogue Podcast is offering advertising opportunities, man. You can promote your business, you can promote your video, your song, whatever it is that you have, man. Reach out to us if you're interested in promoting on the Underground Dialogue Podcast. All you got to do is email us at undergrounddialoguepodcast@gmail.com. Get it. What up, man? It's your big brother K Reno. I'm proud to announce that I'm a new brand ambassador to this new brand of clothing and shoes called Volage. Y'all make sure that y'all support this. It's already available. Houston-based company, straight out the A. Look at the quality of the packaging itself. We ain't even got to the shoes yet, man. And this is just one pair of shoes, one design. They got all kinds of dope designs of shoes that you guys can choose from. Go to volage.biz, find your order, find what you want. Wide selection to choose from, male and female items, and I'm proud to be a part of it, man. Community workers, versatile products, Volage, manufactured in Italy. Look at the quality of this box, man. Y'all don't know what it is. Catch y'all later.